Yo, cynical. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yo, can you hear me? All right, cool. I just going out for a little bit. You know, I I said that shit yesterday. I'm not trying. I'm trying to you know, trying to get 50 subscribers in this bitch at least. I'm up to 40. I ain't really got nothing to talk about. Wasn't nobody live though. Oh yeah, somebody was live. Uh, Shout out to Keisha, but you know she got her little community over there. They're doing their thing and shit like that. You know what I'm saying, shout out to Keisha. You heard? Ain't really too much going on. It's fucking raining over here. Hot as a motherfucker. Muggy. You heard? One person typing. That means there's five in the bushes. Hit the like button. I was about to go do a vertical on my other joint, the Matruski joint, but I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna go over here. Do the stream out. You heard? Yo, last night was crazy. Last night was fucking bonkers. Um, that shit was crazy last night. Motherfuckers is that shit's crazy. Um, you know what's crazy too, that I've seen some people pull up on him and shit like that. Homeboy, humble Gemini, salute. You see, I kept my word. You heard? I kept my word. You got that you got the street sweeper, humble. Hey yo, that shit was crazy last night though. Yo, I don't know if that was Snuggins that did that. You heard? I seen him write something in the comments in the chat. I thought that it was Sir Valentino, salute. I thought that was I got my other device open today. You heard? So I can blink. Oh shit, my bad. I didn't mean to do that shit. Uh, I saw what's his name? Uh, Snuggins right son. I don't know if y'all was watching Oh Boy, the I don't really want to say dude name, but you know the dude that lives in the Bronx. He said that he he said that he woke up and the big homie had his matrushki in his mouth or some shit like that. He was out there spicking niggas to death. You heard? Uh, that shit was crazy though, cause yo, he was wilding. He be wilding. Boy be saying the craziest shit. That's my word. He be saying the craziest. Knowing damn well he's lying and shit like that. He be saying the craziest shit. Shout out to DVN and shit. I'm like, yo, that's nuts. But I don't know if y'all was watching this shit. Somebody pulled up and then they said they went out there like they were sage and boy let them up and they porn bombed them. Yo, I was dying over that shit. Yo, that shit is crazy. You heard? I ain't really got shit to talk about. I just figured I'd go live for a little bit on this channel and shit like that. You know, I've been letting this shit just sit. I went live yesterday for a little while and shit like that. But you know, for certain reasons, I put the shit on private for a little bit. I put that shit public today, and I was looking through the King Tro. Shout out to King Tro. I was doing shit, but I was listening to his shit. I don't know if I tapped over there, but I was looking and nobody live. You know, humble when you going live again? There's nobody live. I'm like, you know what? Eventually today somebody's gonna go live and shit's gonna be lit and shit like that. But till then, I'm like, fuck it. I might as well go out for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Uh, who knows? Maybe late tonight. If no, you know what I'm saying. Mac Me was on last night too. Uh, maybe later on tonight and shit like that. If nobody's on, you know what I'm saying, I might, you know, open the fucking doors and shit like that. Yeah, humble. We need that. We need the good vibes and shit like that. We need that shit. But you saw firsthand, humble. You know what I'm saying? Your first live, I think your first two lives, they went great. But then after that, I'm not saying that your lives are bad at all, because they're not. I like your lives. They got good vibes and shit like that. But you see how that shit gets a little, you know what I'm saying? That shit gets somebody might come up there, somebody might address somebody. That shit just gets a little crazy sometimes. And because starts fucking with you and shit like that. For real. Over here, it's hot as hell, but it was poor. Yo, listen, I went to the store a little while ago. It was mad cloudy, but it wasn't raining. I went in the store before. By the time I came out, I'm talking about I had to stay there for like a good 10 minutes because it was pouring bad. That's a fact. Yeah, Cynical, she goes live and she plays all kinds of music. You heard? Good vibes over there. You know, people bring, you know how that shit goes. People bring their drama anywhere they go. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it don't matter what type of. That's why you be hearing KT when KT goes live and shit like, fuck all that shit. And shout out to OG Bobby Johnson. You heard OG Bobby? He be going live and shit like that, but he don't do stream yards and shit. And I feel like, he it's not that he don't do lives because of the drama. That's not why he does it. He just hasn't gotten StreamYard. But I feel like that shit been saving his mental health. You heard? Cause you go live, I'm telling you, people will weaponize the fuck out of your channel. Especially if you get mad people in your chat. I'm gonna start sharing this channel out too. So, cause I know mad people be telling me. I just saw Elias did pull up here yesterday, but I saw Elias a couple weeks, yeah, like last week or some shit. He was asking Top Shots, like, yo, what's up with Henny? I don't ever see him go live no more. And he was like, yo, Henny be going live on a new channel and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I know some people, there's mad people that don't even know about the shit. But, yo, people will bring their drama to your shit, respectfully. And God forbid you fuck with both people and one person's not there and the other person hits your panel and they mention, oh, fuck that person, and they say the name. You don't really think nothing of it till you see that you're on a thumbnail. You're like, what did I do? That shit is crazy. That shit is mad crazy. For real, for real. You know what's even more crazier? Like when I started my regular Henny channel, I started that shit too because I didn't want to weaponize nobody else's shit, right? And I was advertising that shit like, yo, I'm about to do my lives, and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna address certain things. Yo, like when I did started doing my lives, yo, I remember one day there was like 108 people in the motherfucker. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. People will, yo, like if you advertise your shit for some drama, like if I would have titled this, if I would have set this live up for like an hour away from when I did it, right? And I would have titled this shit F such and such, and shared it on my Henny one, there'd have been at least 50 people in this bitch, you heard? But that's not really what I'm trying to do, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to do a stream out for, sometimes people want to pull up and, shout out to Top Shots, y'all know how Top Shots is, you know what I'm saying? Even if you don't got smoke with somebody, he say some crazy shit and shit like that. So I'm like, let me do them. And then not just for that, but you know what I'm saying? Other people too, you know what I'm saying? They want to talk shit and, uh, you might want to talk shit to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have an issue. Look at Boy last night. Boy last night was on. He was on a. Boy last night was wilding. You heard? Um, but that shit attracts people. You know what I'm saying? I was highly entertained, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who porn bombed him, but that shit was crazy. For real, for real. That shit was crazy. Yeah, that's a fact. I'm humble, but like I said, you know what I'm saying. Like even look, you do, you want to do good lives and shit like that, and play music and shit like that. But even then, you know what I'm saying. If you drop that link, it don't matter who it is, and if the person that's on your that comes up, they're having issue with somebody, or they're just they're just outspoken. You know that whether you might try to stop it and shit like that, but it still happens. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll address something or they'll refer to somebody like motherfuckers is fake, and they just it's just be this should be wild. You know what I'm saying? Like I was thinking, right? I was thinking, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I used to start my lives like at 10 in the morning, right? And I'd be like, yo, I'm a quick live. And then I'd be that's how the name Quick Live came about. I would be like, yo, it's gonna be a quick short one, maybe half hour, an hour the most. And next thing you know, it's 7, 8 hours in. Motherfuckers is in the chat going at each other. Yo, drop the link. They get up here, they talk shit to somebody. That shit just goes crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's a fact, humble Gemini. That shit. So I remember chilling with love. Shout out to chilling with love. I remember I believe it was her birthday. I remember I was about to make dinner, and she's like, "Yo, just leave that shit running. Just mute that shit and leave us up here." Uh, I remember that day. I think it was a 12-hour live. You know what I'm saying? I remember for Christmas I did a 24-hour jump off. I still got that shit on private, but the shit that sucks is that shit didn't record on nothing but 12 hours of it. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. That's one thing I gotta say though. Like, if you're not gonna be messy, you might as well do content because people will be more attracted to just content than just regular chill vibes. Or if you're gonna be messy, you gotta be messy, messy. You get messy, messy, people will love that shit. People love that shit. Like, what's crazy too? Like somebody will start a live and you have 20 people in there, 30 people, but the minute two motherfuckers start arguing, there's fucking 40, 50, 60, 70 people in that motherfucker. And you're like, where the fuck all these people came from? Like, does somebody share that shit out when they like, you know what I'm saying? Do they send that link out to people so people can pull it? Like, I don't understand that shit. That shit, it's like the algorithm pushes the fuck out of the motherfuckers, you heard? Oh, Cynical, you just seen some wild, wild shit. Shout out to Tay and shout out to Unruly. I remember when Tay and Unruly, I think I had 30 people in the building that day. When Tay and Unruly went to go at it, that they were about to meet up, that shit went from 20 people, 20, 30 people, 1609 salute, to fucking 70 people. I'm talking about, and the chat was going some Kai Cenat shit. Like the chat was moving. I could be, and that's the chats that people that you missed salute at. You heard? That's a fact. That's the chats you the yeah, cause that shit gets messy. That shit gets severely messy. And like I said, sometimes you don't even mean no harm. Sometimes you drop the link and a motherfucker just come up there. You're just talking and you start talking about a certain topic and they'll be like, oh yeah, like this punk motherfucker, and they'll say your name and you just keep conversing. You finish that live and that person that's not there sees that live and hears their name. that you in 30 minutes you on a thumbnail. You heard? That's a fact. That shit gets a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like people, you know what I'm saying? Like people like to be entertained, whether it's negativity, which people love that negativity shit, or if it's good content. You know what I'm saying? But like just to come up and you might get a few people to listen to music and just cool vibes and shit like that if you're content with that. But if you want like your numbers fucking off the roof, you gotta have some good ass content or some messy Jerry Springer, fucking Maury type shit. You heard? Respectfully. Respectfully. It is. Those lives, before I even had 200 subscribers, I had over 10,000 watch hours, respectfully. But then you got people, haters, you know what I'm saying? That that YouTube might catch the shit. YouTube might not catch the messiness. You know what I'm saying? But you'll have people that'll go through your lives and listen to who's cursing and who uses certain words, because certain words are not tolerated, and they'll report your shit, and you'll get your shit snatched for that. And I got just too. My shit is just mad. Too the videos, the lives are so long that I'm not about to sit there and listen through the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time I did a live, and shout out to Sky Swizzy. Sky Swizzy was up on the panel, Um, that night they were cutting up like something crazy. Uh, it got to like midnight, 1 o'clock. I was tired, but the chat, that shit was lit in the chat. Like there was mad people in this, so I was like, "Yo, I'm about to," you know what I'm saying? I'm about to mute up and I'm going to bed. Y'all have fun. And shit, I woke up like at 5 in the morning. My live was still running. There was still people in the chat, but Sky Swizzy was on the panel and he was snoring. And I'm like, oh, he never left. I'm like, oh my God, I wonder who he insulted. I wonder whose names he brought up. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Yeah, yo, 16. That's a fact. You know what's crazy? Earlier today, I was thinking I was gonna send you a message so you could give me some ideas on the whole the food shit. Cause yo, this last bag of food, dead ass. I kept. Let me show you. Let me show you. Look, I kept the bag for the ingredients. You heard? And I'm like, yo, I gotta get some tips on like how to make like, cause I don't really, you know what I'm saying, like how to like about the food and feeding him and all that shit. You heard? Uh, yo, 16. Check this out. Last Wednesday, not this past Wednesday that just passed, not like this, but the Wednesday before this one, I fucking this Wednesday was a week, I believe. Was it a week? Yeah, this Wednesday was a week. That's a fact. That's a fact. 16. That's a fact. That's a fact. You know what I do? I'll put a few videos together and I'll just leave them. You know how CapCut just keep it in the like in the library and shit like that. So so when I don't have no idea, I'll just go and just finish the video and shit like that and just keep it moving. But not this Wednesday was a week. I It was pouring on two Wednesdays ago. It was fucking pouring enough to where the road was flooded. But it was raining all day, all morning, so I didn't take Bruce for his walk. Like at 1 o'clock, it had stopped raining and shit like that. And the sun came out, so I took him for his walk and shit like that. When I was just getting home, I was walking up the street, and all the cars are going by the fucking down the street mad slow because there was so much water. I'm assuming they didn't want to wet their engines or splash people. Man, my neighbor's wife, she must have been in a rush to take her kid somewhere. I don't know what the fuck was going on. And I'm listening to music and shit like that, and she fucking goes on the road hauling ass, bro. Bro, this was on 2 Wednesdays ago, but that weekend before that Wednesday, I had just gave Bruce a bath and put the flea and tick medicine on him. Fucking, she drenched both of us, B. Like I'm talking about, like soaking wet. You heard? And she realized it at the last second. So she went to hit the brake to hit reverse and come back and apologize for the shit. And she fucking slid into a curb, fucked up her whole rim, popped her tire. I felt bad, but at the same time, in my thoughts, I'm like, oh, that was karma like a motherfucker. You heard? Yeah, 1609. Uh, right when I be going next door to my neighbor's house, and he got a Doberman. Yeah, a Doberman. The motherfucker, it's a she. She'll run up to me and put her fucking beak right in, you know what I'm saying? Right in the matrushki, you heard? And I'd be like, yo, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, get your dog, nigga. Why she bothering it like this? Yo, you know how crazy is how the phones be listening to what you're fucking talking about? Cause I come home and there's a video on my timeline, on my news feed about dogs and shit like that. And why dogs fucking sniff humans and how they could tell your whole history by sniffing your privates and shit like that. I'm like, yo, that's fucking crazy. You heard? Respectfully. I was like, yo, that shit is crazy, son. That shit is diabolical. That's a fact. And how dogs, they say, what else they say? They say by the scent in your room when you leave, like if you go to the store or whatever, they say that that shit is keep them content. And when the scent starts to fade away, that's when they start. I don't know, some crazy shit. Like I be watching all these things about dogs and shit like that. How you massage, you rub them, if you rub them on their back thighs and shit like that, they like that's some shit they need. That shit is crazy, yo. Like the shit I be fucking listening to, and like when you get up and the dog sees you grab the leash, how they walk up and like they'll stretch. It's not just like a stretch. It's not like it's kind of like you cracking your knuckles, like you know what I'm saying, when you about to do something. Like to them, it's like I don't know. That shit was crazy. I'm like, I like watching all that kind of shit. Yeah, they dogs are I don't know that you gotta watch these videos. Like that shit, I be forgetting this shit. Half of this shit they say, but it's pretty interesting. Like a dog will smell another dog in their crotch just to see their history and know about them and shit like that. They do the same thing to fucking humans. You heard? So next time, next time a dog sniffs your whatever it is, you heard, it's because they're trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, where you came from, all kinds of history from you. I just thought they were weirdos. That's a fact. Yeah. Also, I'm gonna make some more dog videos at the dog park. You heard? Cause Bruce be having a fucking ball. He love that shit. The video I saw, it was talking about dogs, but I'm assuming they do the same thing. I'm assuming they do the same thing. It's just like when you. I don't know if when my dog uses the bathroom and he poops, he like scrapes like a bowl, like almost like he's trying to cover it up. I thought that's what he was trying to do, cover the shit up with like grass and dirt and shit like that, and that's not what it is. Is they got some glands in their paws. I forgot. It's kind of like they're marking their territory. You know what I'm saying when they do that shit, like by some glands, something about the glands in their paws, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's a fact. That's just crazy to me. Oh shit! I didn't know that. I didn't know that. 1609. I'd be scared that at eye level, that's bite your face level. You heard? Eye level is bite your face level. Respectfully. Yeah, but that's dope though, cause yo, listen. A long time ago, somebody told me like if you go like if you're in the wilderness or something and you see like some kind of coyote or fox or something, you're already bigger than they are. You know what I'm saying? But if you like put your arms up, you become way bigger to them. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I was in Jersey in Morristown, New Jersey, and I was where I lived at was by the woods and shit like that. There was a 7-Eleven right down the street. You didn't have to drive there or nothing. You could just walk like a 5 minute walk. And I remember late night I walked to go get a coffee at Smoker L. On my way back across the street in a parking lot, the parking lot was a dead ass. It was dead empty. It was like a business park type shit. You know what I'm saying, with buildings and shit. Like, it was all empty because it was nighttime. And there was two foxes like running. You could just tell they were foxes. And they stopped. They heard me, and they stopped and were looking at me. And that's just because I'm like, there's nothing to jump on. There's no cars. There's nothing. No fucking. There's nothing. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, damn. So dead ass. I'm not even lying to you. I know if somebody would have drove by, they're like, what the fuck? I was walking with my hands up, like the police was telling me to freeze. You heard? Respectfully, I was walking like a fucking weirdo, and I'm like, shit. These fucking foxes ain't about to fucking attack me. Word up. Not yeah, I don't know. If you definitely take off running from an animal, that attracts them to chase you down. You heard? I won't run. That's a fact. I will not run. I will not run. But if I got a pocket knife, best believe that bitch is out and open, and I'm thinking like, oh, this motherfucker gonna bite my hand, but I'm gonna stab this nigga right in the eye. I've never had to never do no shit like that, but I have come close to like when dogs run out on me, and I'm like, oh shit! I know for a fact if you run, you're not gonna outrun the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And then what happens if you trip? Yeah, I'm not running. That's a fact. I'm not running. I'll be scared to death though. I ain't gonna lie. Like, listen, along like in the '90s, like the late '90s, I was already in Rochester. I had a polo bubble, like a goose bubble. I was walking on the street and I seen in front of this house, dude let his big ass Rottweiler go outside just to go pee, and he went right back inside. I'm assuming he was used to doing this shit, but I don't think like if you're gonna do something like that without having the dog on a leash, you should stay out there just in case a situation like this happens. Same shit. It was like a Sunday. Wasn't no cars on the fucking block. I'm walking. I'm looking down. I don't know why I'm looking down. When I look up, I see the dog like he's sniffing the grass, and he happens to look up and look at me, and I stop. And he starts growling, and I'm like, oh shit, there was like a no parking little, like a pole that said no parking and shit like that, one of those skinny metal joints. That's the only thing I had between me and the dog. And the motherfucker's fucking trying to jump and fucking bite me and shit like that. He ripped my whole bubble and shit. And dude came out like I'm yelling, dead ass, no cap. I'm like, yo, get your dog. I'm yelling loud as a motherfucker, you heard? Dude ran out like, oh, he called this dog, yelled, the dog went inside and shit like that. But the dog ripped my fucking jacket. Bitch ass nigga, man. That shit had me fucked up, man. Mad as fuck. Dude's like, he tried to talk to me, but I was so mad and shook that I wasn't trying to hear that shit. I just want to get up out of there, you heard? My people's like, yo, you should have made him pay for your jacket. I'm like, man, fuck that shit. I was out of there. Yeah, I mean, not. I'm saying he's out of there. He's out of there. I'm saying though, it depends how far the fucking tree is though. 16. If the fucking tree is mad far, you're not gonna make it to the tree, bro. You're not gonna make it to the tree. At least if I'm face to face, I have listen. If I'm face to face, I can try to at least grab his mouth shut. You heard? If I can grab that motherfucker like an alligator, that shit is a wrap for the dog. You know what I'm saying? But if you running, that motherfucker might jump and grab you from the like. Nah, I'm not doing all that. Unless it's a car. If there's a car, I'm out and I'm jumping. I've done that shit plenty of times. I've done that shit plenty of times. I don't give a fuck whose dog it is. I don't give a fuck whose car it is. I mean, I don't care if it's a brand new fucking Bugatti. I'm jumping on that motherfucker. I'd rather listen. I'll deal with you when you get the dog. You heard that you could try to beat my ass and we fighting. You heard, but I'm not like no. I don't give a fuck this fucking $400,000 car. I'm jumping on that motherfucker. You heard? Oh, a bear? Yeah, a bear is different. A bear, yeah, you dinner, but a dog, yeah, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, yo, listen, I know y'all seen that video where dude is, he's like, I don't know, yeah, it's a dude. He was hiking like somewhere in the fucking, I don't know where the fuck he was, where he ran into that fucking, it was like a lynx or some shit. And the motherfucker kept walking towards him and he's backing up and the motherfucker kept like trying to run at him and shit like that. I'm like, oh no way, yo. You imagine that shit? You fucking walking in the like people go on these fucking walks in like in fucking Africa and shit like that, where there's fucking elephants and there's fucking lions and tigers and these motherfuckers be on some stealth shit. Nah, for what? For why you want to do that for? Bro, they got fucking zoos. You want to go see a lion in person? Go look at them. Go to the zoo where there's something between y'all. You heard? I'm not going there. No, for what? For what? It's hot as a motherfucker. You can only carry a limited amount of water, and there's chances you might fucking be dinner. There's no way. Nah, go ahead. Take pictures and send them back to me. You heard? Humble. I watched this show called North to Alaska, right? This dude and his wife moved up there. They bought some property, an they like abandoned cabin. They tore the shit down. They built their own crib out there. Shit is a dope show. But every time they go outside to pick berries and shit like that, to do whatever. He has a gun holster like right in the middle of his chest with a big old with some big shit in that motherfucker. You heard? Uh, uh, and that shit has to be readily available for him. You know what I'm saying? Cause the fucking bears, yo, them bears, like the bears, there's fucking moose. That shit is crazy. New Jersey has bears, bro. New Jersey. I remember. Listen, New Jersey has bears, bro. In Morristown, I don't know where the fuck we was. The police was following a fucking bear. AJ, he was younger than obviously. He was on a bicycle, and AJ's riding up like close to the motherfucker, not close enough. The officers like, yo, back up, back up. I'm like, AJ, you better get the fuck away from that shit, bro. That nigga grabs you, you on your own, bro. Like, what you want me to do? Go fight a bear? Hell nah. I'm like, what is wrong with you, bro? He's like, I don't know. The fucking cops were following the bear at a distance. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I'm assuming to animal control came. I bounced, you heard? I just seen a video the other day of a bear in a tree somewhere. It was somewhere. There was houses. There was houses around there. And animal control fucking shot it with something. The bear was falling asleep. Like whatever they tranquilized it with was starting to affect them. And they had like this um trampoline thing underneath it. You know what I'm saying? Trying to catch the bear, and the bear ended up falling asleep and falling off the tree and fell into that shit. And then you know what I mean? They did whatever they did with it. But that shit is crazy to me. Like you got, especially in those areas, you got fucking kids. You're not outside all the time. One might be, you know what I'm saying? But everybody don't sit outside with their kids. You always see wherever you go, whatever neighborhood you go, you're always gonna see a group of kids or some kids that are outside playing by themselves. You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy. Now that's a fact. You know what's crazy? I've been camping mad times in New York State, right? And every time, even though them shit was illegal, every time I went camping, I had some big boy shit. You heard? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. A fucking coyote, a bear, whatever the fuck. I'm fucking blowing his face off. You heard? I'll deal with some jail, but I'm not fucking. I'm not about to. You see these fucking people that fucking walk around with a fucking chunk of their head missing and shit like that. Cause well, yo, what happened? A bear took a bite out of me like I was a fucking cookie or some shit like that. Fuck out of here. Yeah, I've been camping mad times. I like camping and shit like that, but um, there is possibilities when you go to some of these camping joints. When you go to some of these camping joints, there is possibilities that you might, if you're in the fucking woods, you might fucking run into some crazy shit. I've been to to the Jelly Stone joint in New York too. You heard? We rented those little boats that you pedal, the paddle boats, and we went twice. We went to the tent one, and then we went to the log cabin one. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact, humble. That's a fact. Who knows? Maybe we rode right by each other over there. You heard? That shit was in the 2000s when I went there, like the early 2000s. That's a fact. I love that kind of shit, like, uh, starting fires and tents and all that shit. But again, like, you know what I'm saying? Like over here, I've been camping over here too. When you go in, there is a disclaimer shit that they might be fucking. You might run into an alligator. You can't go past a certain, past this way because you might, you got to be aware of fucking alligators. Like if you got a small dog, make sure you keep your small dog on a leash and don't let it roam. Alligator might get it. And you're like, alligator might get it, nigga. What? That shit is crazy. I'm telling you, I went fishing, not even far from where I live at now. Uh, Not far at all. Maybe like driving, maybe like 10 minutes, if that. Every time I would cast my fishing rod in, a baby alligator kept. Every time the shit hit the water, the baby alligator was swimming to where my bait was. I had to keep reeling my shit in and going the other way until I got tired because they wouldn't stop. I got tired and I started to try to fucking hook that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like shoot a cast it towards the fucking baby alligator. That's just crazy to me. Yeah, just, I'm telling you, that's it. It's like, you think about that, it's fun and shit like that. But like when you look at the warnings and shit like that, they advise you about that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful. That's a fact. That's a fact. You try to go and have a little bit of fun, and then next thing you know, you're fucking dinner or you pass. Yo, I'm telling you, listen, I'm gonna keep it real too, humble. Like, I never, like, I understand. I see that shit all the time. Like, I watch this other shit called Outdoor Boys, and when he goes camping and shit, they be in Alaska and shit like that. He carries that big ass can of bear spray. But I'm thinking, I think that shit might buy you some time to get the fuck away. But this, like, I'd rather boom something than spray that shit with a nigga. Like, I don't feel like it might work. It has to work. But that shit. Yeah, I be watching them shits. That's a fact. I be watching them shits. Um, like, I think bears are dope and shit like that and all that. But like to have a fucking bear and nah, and the thing is like them shits come at the speeds that they cut. Look, I was just watching this shit the other day. Wild something about wild animals, and this fucking moose was running at this dude at this, like, they showed the video, and that shit scared the shit out of me. Like dude shot it twice before that shit went down. When he shot it twice, like flinching, like if he didn't shoot it when he shot it, the shit would have fucking like ran over him like a train. Like that shit looked so fucking big and massive, and uh the speed it was coming at him, I was like, oh shit. Yeah, that we be watching the videos and shit like that on TV. That shit doesn't do it justice. That shit don't do it justice. When you go to the fucking zoo and you see that shit, the size of that, you're like, damn, the claws on them things alone will Swiss cheese you. They slice right through. Like, you imagine, right? The shit don't even gotta grab you to bite you or nothing. That shit gonna swing from a distance, and that's it. That's it. You're not going nowhere. That's it. And then it's gonna sit down and eat you like a pizza. You heard? That's a fact. That shit is scary. Like even uh like coyotes and shit like that. Wolves, like, cool. One wolf, you might be able to fucking, poke his eye out and send it away. But if you get a pack of wolves, 5 or 6 of them niggas are not trying to come up to you so you can pet it, or they're not trying to like smell you. And once they see you're good, they're gonna try to eat you. That shit is, to me, that shit is like I said, anytime I went camping to where there might be some type of threat, you best believe to, I was gonna pow one of them little niggas, you heard? Respectfully. Yeah, that's a fact. Like, I don't like, oh no, you can't, yo, guns are illegal. Yeah, but my life is sacred, you heard? And I'm preserving my life, you heard? You imagine a fucking bear taking a fucking, or you with your peoples and you see the bear attack your peoples, and you don't have nothing. What you gonna do? Go over there and jump on the bear and try to yoke it up? Hell no. Hell no. I'm taking that thing out and I'm right in the fucking middle of the fucking forehead, you heard? Nah, yeah, that's a fact. No food in the tent. When you're done eating, you can't just take the chicken bones. If you grill some chicken and you eat, you can't just take those chicken bones and put them in a bag and put it right next to your tent and just leave it until, I'm gonna take the garbage out when we leave. We'll take it with us. No, you gotta get rid of that shit. You gotta go, if you go fishing, you go to clean the fish. You can't do that shit by your tent. Those motherfuckers smell that shit. That's what they're gonna be attracted to. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I be watching. I'm telling you, I be watching those shows, and it's common sense, obviously. But one that don't really think too much of it, they'll go and do that shit. And sometimes you can go to places close to the city and camp, and not really have to worry about that kind of stuff. But there's people, like, I used to go from Rochester to Dansville, New York, to go camping. There was another place too. I can't remember the name right now, but there was you will go camping up there, and those places those places is not only that. Ralph, salute. Not only that, but you get also um raccoons and shit like that. Like you think a raccoon's gonna like yeah, okay, you might have one that might get scared and run away, but you might got one that fucking is outside of your tent going through your garbage with its babies. You think that she's gonna run away when you try to come out and scare that motherfucker, or you don't even know what's out there? You open the tent, that raccoon's gonna be in attack mode. You heard? Trying to be on defending their cubs, their little babies and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I said. I used to go camping, and my baby moms used to get mad as hell. Like, you always gotta be always extra, extra, shit, extra. Shit, we gonna leave this bitch alive. You heard? I don't give a damn. We out here in the woods and shit like that, where you can have a psychopath. There was I was just watching some shit too a couple months ago where dude would go to these national parks and didn't that shit just happen where dude was going to these places and attacking people and you stabbing people and killing and like doing all kinds of crazy shit? Like you don't have to just work like for me, if a city person, you go to one of these fucking you don't know where the fuck you are, you're camping in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Shit. I'll be damned. Yeah, DBN, you Gucci over here, you heard? Yeah, that shit was fire. That shit was fire. That Remy with the yeah, that shit was fire. That's a fact. Look like it sounded like she took shots at Foxy, you heard? Yo, DBN. I was saying, I don't know if that was stage or shit, but I was dying when the when they porn bombed that motherfucker. I was like, oh shit. Yo, that shit was crazy, you heard? Yeah, that verse was fire. I don't know. To me, it sounded like he was taking a shot at Foxy though. You heard? Yeah, DB. I don't know what you did to that. I don't know what you did to Roski. You heard? But he on your heels. He on your heels, yo. You could tell. You could tell though that when you was up there, DBN, you could tell that he didn't feel safe talking to you. Even though you guys are on the internet, even though you couldn't reach over the panel, you know what I'm saying, and choke him or nothing like that, it's pause. It sounded like he held his breath before he started disrespecting you, you heard? Respectfully. But she did mention Foxy Brown though, you heard? That's a fact. He said he hates you. Yo, I just listen. I could deal with a motherfucker telling you your toto and not just to you, but just in general. You know what I'm saying? Talking shit to somebody else in that term. But when they start talking, they take that shit further and they start involving kids and shit like that. I'm like, oh man, like shit like that ain't true, nigga. And you gonna say shit like that, bro? That's gonna get a motherfucker slapped. You heard? I feel like he said. He came outside when Artie pulled up. Shout out to Artie. He did. But I feel like he thinks he really performed. Pause. You heard? I feel like he thinks he really performed, but how do you take somebody serious like that? That says, you know what I'm saying? They woke up fucking choking on the big homie's chicken. You heard? Pause. Yo, Foxy Brown was lit when you know what I'm saying. When she was out here. She was lit. You heard? Brooklyn, big Brooklyn. OG, what up? We ain't doing shit. We just talking a little bit of shit in here. You heard? Talking about little Roski's little performance last night. You know what I'm saying? You know that picture that they showed up there? That shit was super pause. You heard? But I think that was the leaked picture of Roski. I think they just porn bombed him with his own picture. You heard? Sheesh, that picture was diabolical. I said, oh man. See, that's why I gave what's his name props. Connor's the Billy, because Connor's the Billy at least used fucking lesbian porn, you know what I'm saying? He ain't oh my god, that shit was like, what the fuck is that shit? Ay, mi madre. Ay, mi madre. You fell asleep, bro? You didn't watch it? Man, DBN hit the link, my nigga. DBN hit the link and he started talking. You know, they went back and forth a little bit, nothing too crazy. But then I feel like he had people in the chat and he thought that he had to, you know, look tough and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He started trying to violate and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Then Sage, I don't know if it was Sage, but it was his pro. It looked like his profile went up there. And, you know, he let him up. And then as soon as he let him up, they opened the camera and it was like, hey, yo. That's a fact. He came back live after that too. He ended that live. And then a little bit later I got a notification. He went back live for like a half hour and shit like that. Violating. Man, I hope whoever catches him, you know, makes it a short, you heard? He lives in the city too, like right there, bro. Like he was up there violating me the other day. And I was just thinking, like, yo, I'm mad far, you heard? If niggas lived in the same city, even if I was in Brooklyn, that shit's right there. That shit is right there, you heard? And, you know, and what's crazy is, I was thinking about that shit. He was up there defending Shorty, but Shorty went live in front of his building. She didn't just go live, she jumped on China's live in front of his building, wilding his shit up. That shit's crazy, you heard? Yeah, rest in peace, John John. I don't think listen, I think respectfully, I think even if pause, Roski has the reach, I still feel like that waking up with the big homies meat down his throat was crazy, you heard? Respectfully. Like that shit was, hey yo. Yeah, that's crazy, son. Shorty I mean, I do understand what he's saying. Like, when am I supposed to go outside and shit like that? But last weekend, I believe it was, Sage was in the chat like, yo, come outside, and he ended his live. You heard? Yeah, I was just saying that, like, I feel like half of 85% of the people in the chat knew that shit was cap. You heard? But there was a few people in there that, you know what I'm saying, might actually believe his little story. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you. Listen, I know you got him mad as hell because the minute you said, "What did you think you really did?" You hugged the nigga. That shit got him tight, man. Yo, I think you pussy, yo. I said, yo, this nigga crazy, son. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? Like the whole spick shit. I don't know. There might be people out there that gets upset about that shit, but that shit does not bother me, yo. That shit's crazy. That shit doesn't bother me. So I'm like, I don't know why, you know, like I don't know. I feel like some people think that they hurting somebody's feelings with that shit. And it's like I think the people that get their feelings hurt are the ones that gotta sit down to pee. You know what I'm saying? The ones that I was watching Tasha K, I think her name is, and she was talking about the whole Diddy video and how she watched it or whatever, and she was like, "Yo, he's a female, like he's got a micro jump off, you heard?" And I feel like, and that's why they're so emotional, and that's why they get so mad, and that's why um, because they have nothing else to be able to control anything. You heard? So they have to use trying to verbally and physically be abusive. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so they're so sexually frustrated. You know what I'm saying? They've never heard a gasp in their life. You heard? Respectfully. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. He went crazy on that shit, but that's what I'm saying though. Like I was laughing at the shit. Yo, I'm gonna keep it gangster, son. I was highly entertained. Like I was highly entertained. You wasn't making me change my TV at all for nothing. Yo, Moist is crazy. You heard? Moist is crazy. Yo, like Tasha K made a lot of sense in her video yesterday, talking about the whole Diddy shit. You heard? Like it was just making me think of how some people act emotional and shit like that, and how some people do the most like online, like y'all know the moped bandit. Respectfully, like why would his bitch be in my picture liking my shit, right? If you handling business and that, listen, if you got a side chick, right? If you got a side chick and she's into you, she's not gonna and she's trying to get you to move to where she lives and live with her, and she's trying to bag you. She's not gonna entertain nobody else. She's trying to get you away from your chick. You heard? And then I start to think, and I'm like, damn. You see how he be going like on some demon shit, going from chat to chat, from panel to panel, doing like his own shit. He does the most. And what Tasha K was saying yesterday, I'm like, yo, that shit reminds me of old boy. You heard? Nah, I don't brag about no feet pics. Yo, I don't brag about no feet pics. You heard? That's a fact. I don't brag about no feet pics. I just cleared that up about the feet pics. You heard? I just asked a simple question. Shorty said she had to get her toes done, and I said, "Why? Your feet are looking rough." Or I said, "Your dogs are looking rough like that." And to prove that her dogs weren't looking rough, she sent a foot pic. You know what I'm saying? I didn't ask for that shit. You heard? But she made it seem like motherfuckers like, "Oh, you got a foot fetish." Listen, if I'm into a woman, I'm into her from head to toe, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean I'm fucking joining anybody's OnlyFans to fucking. I'm not sending nobody $1,200 for feet pics. There's no fucking way. Gregory, holla at me. You heard? That's a fact, OG. Yo, that shit was epic. When you was talking about how he washes the inside of that stankin' ass eye, he's like he pours some fucking Listerine in there. He starts Harlem shaking. My nigga, we wasn't talking at that time you did that, my nigga. But I ain't gonna cap, nigga. I hit the yo. I'm not even gonna lie, nigga. I hit the like button on that fucking joint. You heard? Respectfully. Now it's like, yo, this nigga is a fucking. This nigga is fucking. This nigga shot out. You heard? Yo, 16, I'm not lying to you. The dude, Nunzio, went on to KT's panel and told KT, shout out to KT, told KT that that dude Gregory from the UK, wherever the fuck he's from, the one that be going into his chat, sent some chick $1,200 for a few feet pics, and she didn't even send them to him. And I'm like, yo, bro, you should have sent them shit. You should have sent me 500, and I'd have sent you 3 different girls' feet pics. You heard? Fuck you mean? Fuck you talking about? Shit. 1,200? Like, yo, dog. You could somebody said it, bro. You could have went and bought some coochie. Behind the scenes. somebody said in my somebody said on my interview in the chat, I was reading the chat, right? Somebody said you're finished, Henny. They ain't never gonna send you another foot pic or no more DMs, you heard? Boy, were they yo? You know what? I should have taken some bets. I should have taken some bets. I should have taken some bets, and he would have came up respectfully. You heard? Oh shit! Yeah, the Harlem Shake shit was crazy, son. That shit was crazy, son. I fucking about fell out laughing, bro. I'm like, this motherfucker right here, man. This nigga needs to do. That's what you need to do, OG. What you need to do is dedicate one of your the OG Bobby Johnson page to some like stand up live comedy shit, nigga. Get you even if you don't get a stream, y'all, nigga. Turn your fucking camera on and do and do like some, because you're a funny ass motherfucker, my nigga. Respectfully, you heard? You did the 5% crib. That shit had me fucking dying too, nigga. We wasn't even fucking with each other then. And I was fucking, I was out, I remember I was out with Bruce somewhere, nigga, and I was fucking cracking the fuck up, son. I couldn't even see the screen. I just heard you talking, respectfully. I'm like, this nigga right here got a loose screw, bro. This nigga's not all the way up there for real, son. That's a fact. That's a fact. This nigga's a fucking. This nigga's. He just says he just. It's like he's witty with that shit. Like he just says some whatever because it just fucking clowns on it. So I'm like, this motherfucker right here, boy. Yeah, be careful. Yeah, that's a fact. Be careful. Them chicken. I heard them chicken bones. Them chicken leg bones. Woo. Heard them shits are fucking pierced right through flesh. You heard? You know how like the Italian motherfuckers or people be walking around with the toothpick after they eat and shit like that. They put the toothpick in their mouth and they just be walking and shit on some pimp shit. He does that shit with the chicken leg bones. You heard? Respectfully. Like what? Remember them? Remember pause. Remember those things that they used to chew back in the days and shit. What you call them shits? Damn, I forgot the name of them shits. It's like a piece of bark or some shit like that. Yeah, nigga, fuck is you waiting for, bro? You out here, your monkey foot in his light out here right now. You heard? It's like you on a monkey foot diet. I said, this shit had me fucking dying with that 5% crip shit, man. I'm like, yo, this motherfucker right here, or the fucking who else you was, yo, you be you nigga, even when you just joking with just whoever, indica be having me sleepy. I can only smoke indica at nighttime. You heard? I could do hybrid and shit like that, but I'd rather have some sativa for real, some fire ass sativa. If you at work and shit like that, you start fucking, if you doing electrical work and shit, you wiring a house and you fuck around and smoke some indica, you fucking turn the fucking kitchen light switch on and the bathroom light the bathroom fan comes on and shit like that. Nah, I can't fuck with that shit. Yeah, indica have you fucking doing shit fucking backwards and shit like that. Dead ass. You fucking make a ham and cheese sandwich with 2 pieces of fucking cheese, the bread's in the middle and the ham's in the middle. Nah, can't do that shit. You heard? Yes, that's a fact. DBS sativa gets you motivated and shit like that. But if you're tired at nighttime and you're just chilling watching a movie, you're about to go to sleep, you could smoke some sativa and you know what I'm saying? You can still. But if you're out and about and that shit don't slow you down, that fucking indica shit be having you like, I said, whoa, that's a fact. So I heard you yesterday. You was talking about OG was talking about he don't know if the runt is sativa or indica. I don't know either. I thought for some reason that shit was sativa, but I know that DG shit. I know that shit has to be indica. You heard? If that shit is putting you down like that, that's definitely some indica. Sherm stick. Y'all remember the Sherm sticks? Them joints. That's how Perk be walking around with the chicken bone in his mouth. You heard? Like a Sherm stick. Respectfully. Yeah, I mean, trees is trees. Don't get it twisted. Like if there's no trees, don't think I'm not about to, that's all there is to indica. Yeah, but from experience and shit like that, I'd rather have some sativa and shit during the day. Yeah, that hybrid shit, like all them fire crazy strains, a lot of them should be hybrid joints, respectfully. Don't get it twisted though. There's indica shit out there that got some fire ass names that that you remember. You're like, oh yeah, that shit was some fire shit. And you get that. Like I'll get that shit. Like was smoking, you know what I'm saying? I would get that shit. I was blow that shit down. But like if I had a choice, and if I know I'm going to work and shit like that, I know because that shit gonna have me fucking pacing. I'm not trying to get out of work at fucking 8 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get out of there early. I'm taking some sativa, respectfully, some fire ass sativa. Nah, cause they fucking mixing a lot of that shit. They're fucking pollinating this shit with that shit, and that shit is growing some, you know what I'm saying, which is components some fire shit too. But there's not really like you have to really do your homework and shit like that and know like a certain strain and go by that. You know what I'm saying? It has to be some official shit. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the shit nowadays, you look at the back of the package, that shit will tell you it's hybrid. You know what I'm saying? And some people that do it on their own, they don't want you to know. You know what I'm saying? The shit'll be it'll be hybrid. And they'll tell you, no, that's sativa. You know what I'm saying? You over there, or it'll be some fucking indica, and they'll tell you it's some sativa. It's not on the package because some motherfuckers don't still do the sandwich bag joints. You heard? You at work all fucking half fucking sleep. You know what I'm saying? Half dead and shit like that, starving, fucking all kinds of shit up. You don't even know what you're talking about at work, or because you smoke some fucking indica. That's a fact. And like I seen shout out to Chase. I saw Chase do a video not too long ago and he was talking about, yo, I don't know what the fuck. I never really was into those cartridges and shit like that, those oils. He's like, man, I fucked around and hit one of these shits. He's like, yo, what the fuck do they put in these things? Cause I'm higher than a motherfucker. That's a fact. Them fucking oils, those cartridges, I'd rather smoke bud. I'd rather smoke flower, dead ass. But like I've been in places where you can't smoke no bud. There's too many people around, business people around, and you can't just go around the corner smoking and shit like that because there's all kinds of business people and shit like that. So I would use the pen for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And man, that shit'll have you fuck around and you hit that shit twice, good hits. Man, you be like, why did I do that dumb shit? That ass. That's a fact. But I am glad that we're in these days now, because back in the days, and I was talking to somebody about this shit too recently, like even in New York, you know what I'm saying? When that shit was illegal, you know what I'm saying? It was the thrill, you know what I'm saying? To have to go pick it up. Damn, that shit reeks. You know what I'm saying? You gotta double package that shit. If somebody's not delivering, you gotta go get that shit. You got the whole car stank as a motherfucker and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You're somewhere and fucking pull that shit out your pocket. The whole room stinking like that sour diesel. Oh my god, son. That shit right there was crazy, son. You pull some fire out somewhere and put that shit right back in your pocket real quick. Somebody's gonna be like, y'all smell that shit? Y'all smell that shit? Uh, you know, you have to, even though I'm glad that you could, New York, you could smoke, and some places, some states, you could smoke and shit freely now and shit like that. But I don't know, like when I was in New York, I thought it was gonna be like, I was gonna feel like real good to go in somewhere and buy it legally and walk out and shit like that. It wasn't really like that. You know what I'm saying? I think part of the enjoyment of it is the thrill of that you're doing something illegal. You heard? Yeah, vacuum seal. That's a fact. But even still, y'all be watching this shit called Louisiana State Boys. The state troopers in Louisiana usually bagging people trying to come through from Texas or Cali. You know what I'm saying? Trying to bring that shit to either Alabama, New York, anywhere they're trying to go. And they go through Louisiana. They be having suitcases, bro. Look that shit up. Louisiana State Boys. You're gonna see every single episode is about them bagging somebody with mad stuff. And a lot of the stuff, dude just got caught with 100 pounds. All of them was vacuum sealed. Soon as they walk up to the window, they're like, "Your license and registration." They could smell the reefer already. You gotta freshly salute. You gotta really Your best bet is to fucking vacuum seal that shit and overnight that shit somewhere. You heard? You gotta overnight that shit respectfully. You like if you're trying like or have somebody to do it for you. But if you got somebody to do it for you, to drive it for you, you gotta trust that motherfucker. And if you trust that motherfucker, that means you got a relationship. Unless the motherfucker's really down for that shit's the fucking like that's just a risk. You know what I'm saying? Reefer be stanking like a motherfucker, son. I love that smell. You heard? That's a fact. You get you some real like there's some bud. I've gotten some bud that was fire ass bud and shit like that. But you know you can conceal the smell, but you also get some shit that good luck. You heard? Good luck. It's with a fucking with a you trying to go. You're going to your people's house and you take a little bullshit ass eighth or quarter with you, and you know what I'm saying. If it's especially in a place like Alabama where it's illegal. I just went last year. Last year I went to Fire. Freshly, that shit. We're on I-10. You heard? We're on I-10 down here. There's fire like a motherfucker. But last year I went. Yo, my cousin lives in Colorado, Colorado Springs, and she a bartender. She gets she gets zips over there for $44 with taxes and everything. $44. You heard? We we went to Kissimmee last April for a week, and she bought 4 zips with her. You know what I'm saying? And I could smell that shit. You heard? And it's like, 4 zips is not really a lot. Obviously, QP, but it's not really a lot. But you get caught um, coming in from Alabama into into Florida. You're gonna have an issue. You're gonna have an issue. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, shit. In Colorado, you can get a ounce, my nigga, a fucking ounce of mixed shake for like $20, $18, bro. Of mix a bunch of mixed shake, 4 different kinds of shakes and shit like that. I forgot what they call it. They call it something. I forgot. And I'm like, nigga, take that shit and put that shit in and some baggies and go up to New York and make a killing off them shits. Or nah, not Carla. Carla's not Carla. Carla's aunt, Samira. Hey yo, nah. You go to the dispensary, you can get you some. You get you some top shelf shit. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be on your ass. That's some respectful shit. You heard? You get some that medical shit. That shit that they fucking they treat. You got chronic cancer. That chronic shit. You just. That shit that'll really take the pain away. That you get you some fire ass butt. You heard? Respectfully, that you could just like 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 that medical shit. A medical shit is like on some different level. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact, DBN. That's a fact. That's a fact. That shit that is you got real chronic pain and shit like that, and like there's people that I forgot the name of the cancer and shit. There's people that got some fucked up cancer. I forgot the name of that shit. That they smoke that shit because it eases makes life a lot easier. The little bit of life they got left. You heard? No free promotion, nigga. Hit the cash app. Yo, that ass though. That ass. You know, and there's so much. Listen, I'm not even bullshitting you. When I was just in Rochester, you go to the dispensary. I got some gelato. I think I paid like $80 for maybe, I don't remember. It was up there though. You know what I'm saying? And you go to the back blocks and you buy a eighth, you get some fire ass shit. There's so much fucking different butt out there now, and people are they might you might find some shit at the dispensary, but don't think that shit ain't in the streets either. You heard? I like I said, I'd rather buy shit from the street. It's a lot cheaper, and if it's some fire, it's some fire. You're gonna know. You know what I'm saying? If you deal with somebody that only deals with fire, you don't really gotta go to the dispensary. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be on your ass anyways. For real, for real. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like the sativa to me is like, you know what I'm saying? If you're an all day smoker and shit like that, that's more, you know what I'm saying, my speed. You know what I'm saying, don't slow you down and shit like that. The other shit is more like, you know what I'm saying, and nothing else, or if you're at home and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I do know people that are all day smokers and shit like that, and they just like that heavy, heavy high, you heard? And they like that indica shit. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. You get uh I was watching somebody's live and they had these little containers, and I think them shit was like $15, $20, and I'm like, yo, that's fire. You know what I'm saying? Nah, yo, gee, respectfully, son, like that shit you get in the there's some fire ass shit. I also had some of those peach ring medical gummies joints. You heard? Man, me like a savage. I ate two of them shits. Ah, this just ain't nothing. I had edibles before. These shits ain't gonna do nothing. They were medical joints. They came in these little white Tupperware things with the little sticker on it. Man, that shit ain't hit me right away. Man, about 3 hours later, I went to watch this episode. I don't know what the fuck it was. Man, next thing you know, I look at the time and it's like 10:30 at night, and I laid down to watch the TV. It was like 3 o'clock. Yo, all them hours flew by for like 30 minutes. Vice Gemini, I bought in Tampa. I bought yeah, it was in Tampa. I bought my cousin got them shits. These little peak rings, medical jump offs. I thought the same shit because I've had brownies. I had cookies before. That shit don't do nothing to me. Nothing. Maybe because your nigga motherfucker's a stoner already. Uh, your tolerance really don't make you feel nothing because you're not really smoking an L. I know people that never smoked really and eat edibles and be on their asses, but the brownies and cookies and shit like that never did nothing to me. But those peach rings had me fucking nice. You heard? That's a fact. That's a fact. Like I'm not into. Listen, if it's available, yeah, I'll do it. But I'm not about to go spend $100 on edibles versus flour. You crazy? Give me the flour all day. The same thing with oil. Uh, I know dabs will fuck you up too, though. You know what I'm saying? I know dabs will get you super, super high, but I'm not spending my money on that shit. If there's some dab, I might put a little bit in my L. You know what I'm saying? When I'm twisting it up and shit like that. But that's not an everyday thing. You heard? I'm not. No, motherfuckers be buying these dab rigs and shit like that and be like, no. Plus, that shit's gonna bring your tolerance so high that when you do smoke out, you're not really gonna feel that shit. I'd rather just smoke out. I'm old school, you heard? Give me a handful of trees and a couple I'd rather have a Dutchie, you heard? I'd rather have a Dutchie, but if there's no Dutchie, go whatever. Give me some kind of cigar, you heard? Um, I'll do I'll do an entourage. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I'd rather have a Dutchie. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like backwoods and shit like that. I will smoke them if I have to, but I'm not really that like that shit is mega harsh and shit like that. Fuck out of here with that shit. Like nigga quit smoking cigarettes to go and smoke fucking backwoods. No, I'm not doing that. But papers, I believe like papers just started becoming like not just, but them shits wasn't like in the late '90s and in the fucking 2000s. Shits wasn't as popular as they are now. You know what I'm saying? I always was a cigar blunt smoker. Like, give me some blunts or some Dutchies or something. You heard? Oh, that's motherfuckers. I remember my boy was like, "Yo, I just spent $70. I think it was." He said on a 8 foot bong, and I'm like, $70. It's like I don't like smoking bowls and shit like that. Yes, I have, yes, but I'm not about to go get a bowl and have a bowl in my crib because that's when I'm gonna smoke. No, I'm smoking blunts, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? No, I'm not putting no eighths in my shit. I might put a fucking gram in that motherfucker. One, the most 1.5. But and that's not. It depends how I'm feeling. It depends how I'm feeling. There's a point that you're not really gonna. I mean, you get super skied and shit like that, but I feel like that's for I feel like smoking eighths are for real penthouse owners. You heard? When you got it like that, but you're just really wasting trees. I believe. You heard? Nah, that's a fact. I used to DBN. That's a fact. I do. Don't get it twisted. I smoke some Bob Marleys. You heard? But that's nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the days, in the early 2000s, there's no way you were gonna get me to. Yeah, I will. If I come through, and you spark up a fat ass joint and shit like that, motherfucker try to pass yo, try this shit out. You know, that's my people's and shit. I might hit the shit once or twice, but that wasn't my go-to. You know what I'm saying? If I have to keep it real. Nah, I like the Bob Marley's better than the Raws. You heard? Respectfully. Yeah, but to me, and listen, and it wasn't. Listen, I think it's just on the person. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about A lot of people say, oh, they bad for you. Yeah, I know cigars are real bad for you, but to me, I think it was more the taste. You know what I'm supposed. I think it was more the taste, the Dutchy. I don't know for what reason. I Yo, when I moved to Rochester, I would have to go to certain stores to buy Dutchies. You heard? And even when you bought them in those stores, they be mad fucking still. Like, yo, in New York City, they're not like this. Like, them shit is always in rotation. It's you go to some places that motherfuckers never over there. And when I got to Rochester, motherfuckers was smoking the White House and the little tubes. Y'all remember the White House and the fucking different color tubes? They were smoking them and Phillies. What are the Titans? The Philly Titans. Dead ass. What do you mean straight shooter? Straight glass? Nah, you know, not the Brillo glass, not the glass with the Brillo on the tip, my nigga. Nah, you fucking with me, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? I remember, I remember my, I remember my sister pulled out this little wooden thing one day, and she pulled out this little shit called a dugout. She looked like a cigarette, one hitter joint. And about where the shit goes, the little, you know, you open the little top on the wooden joint. It has a compartment for the little cigarette looking thing, and the other compartment was you put the broken up trees. So you put that shit in there and twist that shit a couple times and put it on. One hit a quitter, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, nah, this some hillbilly shit like a motherfucker right here. I'm like, yo. She's like, look, it looks like a cigarette. I'm like, nah, bud, you bugging. I feel like Pookie, New Jack City. Woo! Oh shit, that's just crazy. You heard? When I got down here to Alabama, I was working with this kid. Yo, every time he would smoke a L and shit like that, he always go get away from people to roll it up. And then he liked that shit. You could smell that shit. He would put, he would lace the fuck out that shit. Always trying to pass that shit to a nigga like, ah, nah, I'm good, my nigga. Even if motherfucker ain't had no trees and shit like that, like, nah, I'm good, nigga. You have a nigga out here wilding out and shit. Smoking Diablillos, you heard? That shit is crazy. Motherfuckers can't be content with just fucking bud. Motherfuckers always wanna look at the woo niggas, you heard? Wanna crumble up some of that yay, that, you know what I'm saying? And like, that shit's crazy. Yo, that's a fact. Motherfuckers be doing that shit. That ass, motherfuckers be doing that shit. You don't know no better. You don't know what that shit smell like or nothing. You're like, you fucking me like, yeah, let me get that shit real quick. Nah, I just be like, yo, that shit smell like ass. I'm good on that shit. That ass. You don't really know. You think motherfucker going over there just to twist it up to get away from people. Nah, they doing that shit for a reason. If you ain't got nothing to hide, you're gonna do that shit right there. All three of us here smoke. Why you all going over there to hide? To roll the shit. Roll that shit right here while we talking shit. Nah. I think it said Brittle gang, you heard? Crazy. That's crazy. I was just in the store 2 days ago, maybe. Dude in front of me. It was the dude at the counter. It was a white dude in front of me, and then it was me who was waiting in line. The dude that was at the counter bought whatever he bought, and he bounced. The other dude goes up there and he's like whispering, like he's not even whispering. He's the dude behind the counter is the Arab dude. He's telling him something, and the Arab dude makes it mad obvious, like, what? What? He must have been telling him, let me get a stem or something, because dude grabbed the paper bag and went over there, and you could hear both of them shits hit the bag inside the bag, like, you know, the glass joints hitting each other. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, he about to go get righteous, you heard? He about to go spend his whole pay. It was yesterday, Friday. He about to go spend his whole paycheck, you heard? Respectfully. That's a fact. That's a fact. I remember, listen, I remember going into the stores and seeing those little roses. You know what I'm saying? The thing with the little glass with the little rose in there. And in the beginning, I didn't know what the fuck was that. You heard? I didn't know what the fuck that shit was with the little rose in there. You heard? Now, nigga, know. You know what I'm saying? Years later and shit like that, but shit. When you was little and shit, you didn't know what the fuck that was. Oh, look, a rose. Motherfucker buying one thing of fucking one Brillo pad. When I was young, I see that shit, I was like, huh. Then I figured out what it was. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, these, that shit crazy. Yo, I gotta get ready to make some moves though. You heard? I've been up here for a little minute. Appreciate y'all pulling up, shooting the shit with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it wasn't a lot of ums. There was a lot of respectfulies. There was. There wasn't a lot of hit the like button, but y'all hit the like button for me, you know? Just up here shooting the shit, no content. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to take up some space, you heard? Give me some space. Nah, salute to everybody. Hope you have a blessed Saturday. Enjoy yourselves. Hopefully somebody goes live and I see y'all over there, you heard? Peace and blessings to everybody.